Welcome, everyone, to the Tethys Shipyards Strategic Analysis Division, where we go over various records of campaigns that either have happened or may happen. I am Takeshi Yamato, the Yardmaster, joining our host and strategic analyst, the Housecoat Gamer.
Yo.
Today we're starting some crossover campaigns. Today we're looking at some crossover campaign ideas for Trek ships crossing over into other universes, or ships from other universes crossing into Trek, and potential ways the interactions could happen. Today, well, we're starting with the big two. We're starting with the other big one, Star Wars.
Note, we are not going to be exactly fair here. We are
Yes.
going by lore.
Yes,
So
yes.
if the essential guide to warfare says these ships have less power generation and less capability than their counterparts,
Yeah.
take it
We're
up with them, not us.
Yes, we are not. We won't be fair, but we will be methodical and logical. We are going to follow the numbers. We are just the messengers here. Don't blame us if the numbers don't match up.
Or rather if they match up but you disagree with anything. Anywho, let us begin.
Yes.
Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yes.
Arguably the two most popular science fiction franchises in existence, to the point where certain people have tried to screwed them over for their own reasons. Kathleen Kennedy and Alex Kurtzman deserve to be, shall we say, evacuated.
Yes. I have a t-shirt. It's a Trek shirt with the Enterprise D on it, and it has the caption, "You can't always choose who comes into your life, but you can choose which airlock you throw them out of."
Words to live by.
Yes.
Therefore, we will be basically ignoring anything they get unless something makes sense, such as the infamous Supremacy class Super Star Destroyer, which actually does kind of make sense as a global foundry, and anything from STD.
Yeah.
Unless the boats have been redesigned, like Ages of the Federation. I will always plug that. Get used to it.
Yeah.
So.
And we can say, and the events of STD and some of the other recent Trek shows may have happened, just not the same way they're shown.
For example, they didn't go to the mirror universe.
Yeah.
And the mycelial crap doesn't exist. And the control thing never happened, because those are just plain stupid. I mean,
yeah.
We could have done better, and we are not qualified authors.
Yup. At best, we are fanfiction authors. But more than that,
we try to hold ourselves to a much higher standard.
Yes. Anyway,
how to get us into the other side? Well, the most obvious is subspace vortices. Subspace portals are very common in Trek. Not so much in Wars. However, hyperspace is just another term for subspace.
Yeah.
So I suppose the question is, who starts it and who crosses over?
Yes. And there's a few different options. The Trek crossover could start on the Trek side, or it could start on the War side. On the Trek side, well, the easiest way to do it would be to start with a Starfleet ship exploring the frontier and coming across something unusual.
That happens all the time.
Yeah. And I mean, having it as an Enterprise would also be standard fare because the Enterprise gets all the strange stuff. Then again, Ron and I have also. Then again, Ron and I will also sometimes use our own ships, the Rockailoom and the Minerva, or Takeshi's flagship or whatever. Well, mainly the Rockailume and the Minerva, because those two crews basically catch all the strange shit that that passes the Enterprise by. There's a reason I've made Tatsuki my Delta recruit in PC STO, and she was one of my first characters in PS4 STO as well. I've been working on trying to get the two matched up a bit, but I'm going to need to work a bit on the getting the ships on the PS4 end. Anyway,
Yes, I was about to say, get on with it.
yes. Anyway, so
Subspace vortices, interdimensional portals, even time crap.
yeah, even time stuff, or if you really want to get crazy with it, you could always throw in our favorite omnipotent a-holes.
Yes, Q is always an option in this sort of thing.
Yes, for whatever reason. Either he's bored or there's something on the other side that the continuum considers a threat, what have you. He is an option for any universe. And then the other option.
I suppose that's a good segue to get us into wars.
Well, there's one more idea that could work, but that's also a little that would also get a little darker. And that goes back to Frontier Day.
Yes, the Borg.
Yes. The Enterprise D destroyed the cube at Jupiter. It blew up the relay, which caused all sorts of feedback issues and basically blew up the cube. That was a lot of energy going through. Possibly enough energy to tear a hole in the space-time continuum. Any Borg debris that didn't get picked up, that didn't get destroyed or otherwise salvaged, could have passed through some sort of portal that tore open and ended up in Star Wars or anywhere else.
Again, but I suppose this is a good segue into wars, which will prompt me changing games to something a little more appropriate.
And here we go into Star Wars.
Upgrade in progress.
And
constructing unit.
I suppose first we start with ways wars could cross over to Trek.
Interceptor squad reporting.
And
hyperspace accidents are always
station
the best
ready.
option.
Yeah.
Upgrade complete.
Let's be honest, those things may be extremely simple little devices, but
upgrade complete. Building
Order,
started.
When
Yeah.
things want to go wrong, they will go
Beginning construction.
Yeah. And
the Empire's always experimenting with things.
Orbital command available.
yep. And another option is always
Upgrade complete.
At your command.
Force
Upgrade
Nexi
in
or
progress.
anything dealing with Force BS.
Space station under attack. Construction complete.
I mean,
Upgrade in progress.
the Force is supposedly this
Ready for command,
omnipresent
sir.
energy
Asteroids
field,
ahead.
and it can be affected by all sorts of things.
Receiving message.
So, If something goes wrong in the Alderaan graveyard, it could open up a portal or something.
It could also be something that isn't era-dependent.
Yeah.
Crews are
It could
online.
be something the Confederacy pulls.
Upgrade complete.
Yeah. Or something the Sith Empire pulls during the events of Tor. Or a Galactic Republic attempt to counter Sith Empire BS.
Use your reinforcements. Space station under
Navigating.
attack.
Anyway.
Cruiser here.
Either way, a portal opens and a nearby ship of whatever faction goes through and ends up in the Trek universe.
Decoding transmission.
Upgrade in progress.
And
Upgrade.
now we get into a topic of what happens on either side.
Attack formation.
So, warship in Trek is definitely going to be really in over its head. Especially if it's an Empire ship, because they're going to want to do the usual Empire thing of conquer everything in their line of sight.
Vehicle in production.
Because for some reason, they're just idiots.
Yeah. And
Under attack.
obviously, if they try doing this with Starfleet or the Klingons,
Cruiser online.
they're screwed.
Attacking.
And
Upgrade complete.
with Starfleet, I'm not sure. Well, Starfleet going into Trek would. Starfleet going into wars would probably end up not siding with the Empire, or they would side with whatever good guy faction is active at the time.
Space station damaged.
Location confirmed.
And the Klingons would probably just do their usual thing, stirring up shit for the sake of combat.
Ready.
The Romulans would do their usual spy BS.
Setting everybody against each other.
Squadron standing by.
It's what they
Station
do.
ready.
That shtick never gets old. It never ends.
Yep.
Constructing unit.
And Cardassians would probably make like the Empire, but I make like the Empire in Trek,
Falling out of
just a bit more successful because
Upgrade complete.
even Cardassians with
attack
tech a fair bit behind Starfleet would still have better tech than wars.
Because let's be honest, there's a reason projectile weapons aren't
Upgrade
actually
complete.
succeeding in wars.
Yes, wars shields.
Navigating to coordinate.
There are two different types of shields in wars: particle shields and ray shields. You can only have one active at a time.
Orbital command available.
One shield protects against energy weapons, one protects against projectile weapons.
Cruiser here.
And because they lack the power
Upgrade
at the
complete.
same time.
Taking fire. Advancing.
Yeah, since they don't have the power to keep both up at the same time,
At your
Space
command.
station under
all that you
attack.
can, the only thing that really, well, Trek basically just has to figure out which one is active at the time, and then fire the opposite,
reporting.
while probably firing the weapon that is currently being shielded, just to keep the enemy from switching shields.
Tartan cruiser reporting. The torpedo
If
launcher
ray
is
shields are up, use torpedoes. If particle shields are up, use phasers or disruptors, etc.
Receiving
And then, of
message.
course, the Ferengi would. Then there's the two other options that have a bit more interest. If you're doing a Ferengi crew, either through homebrew rules or if you're doing captain's log, the Ferengi would honestly find themselves right at home in Star Wars, just selling their stuff to everybody.
Star Destroyer standing by.
This would also cause quite a change in War's technology, as all factions suddenly gain a massive boost. And then there's the other option. Honestly, the worst option for a Trek crossover, for a Trek Wars crossover of any kind. And that is that Borg debris I mentioned from Frontier Day, ending up somewhere in Star Wars, and someone touches something they shouldn't.
Gunship reporting.
Yeah. The rebels would...
touch it because they think, oh, it's going to give us an edge.
Decoding transmission.
And you can't blame them for wanting...
Our space station is under attack.
Yeah. The Sith Empire would probably touch it because because it is something they need to understand in order to defeat. And Galactic Republic, again, something that might help against the Sith.
Awaiting your command.
And of course, the Trade Federation would be, ooh, shiny!
Primary target acquired.
Well, Trade Federation and Confederacy. Yeah. Point remains, someone touches something they shouldn't, reawakens the nanoprobes, and suddenly you've got a Borg collective starting up.
Your command, sir.
Station ready.
Our lasers are destroyed.
Orbital command available.
Rolling out of formation.
Yeah. Not an option anyone wants to think about. Because
Batteries online.
because honestly, you'd follow the same Borg rules as in as provided in the Delta Quadrant for assimilated starships, but all of a sudden, I would add an extra rule: full adaptation. Because after a short time, after enough time passes, Borg weapons would pass through any kind of shield, regardless of what type it is, and Borg shields would also no-sell anything coming against them.
System is down. Our shields are down.
The only way I could see wars coming out anyway positively if the Borg show up is if someone were to test like a lifeboat escape option with a modified hyperdrive and just tearing their own hole in the space-time continuum and ending up in Trek. Because that would bring Starfleet into the picture.
Coming around.
The only ones who can fight the Borg.
Ion beam missile launcher is gone.
Roger that.
Yeah.
Destroy the engines.
So yeah.
AI is still
Decoding transmission.
Yep. Yep. Cheating AI.
Space station damaged.
Long time ago when we were doing Housecoat podcasting, we had a video on cheating AI. And
Destroyed our torpedo launcher.
yeah,
Anyway,
We've lost the iron cannon.
yeah, moving
Our
along.
engines are gone, sir.
And here we go into a new era. Because we can do just about any era in Trek as well.
it's a little more restricted. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have any problems with the 32C boats from STD. I mean, they were kind of going in that direction anyways.
Yeah.
That said, we're going to be restricting ourselves to within a 250-year time period.
Yes. Between the launch of the Enterprise, the NX-01, and the time of Star Trek Online. So maybe closer to 260 years, but still.
It's a general number.
Yeah. Anyway,
Unable to comply.
anyway, with this thing, with TNG, with original series or Enterprise era, the tech might be a little closer to even. Trek would still have the advantage in power generation and shielding tech.
And
Though with
weapons range, let's be honest.
Yeah. War's weaponry is, well, at best it's knife fighting range compared to Trek ships.
We'll give them credit for knife fighting range, though.
Yeah. And there's a reason why we've done some Klingon ships for some Star Wars ships for Tethys Shipyards. We haven't done all of them yet, but we've done some. And all of their weapons, and they haven't been uploaded yet, but they will be once we're done with the
Research
Galactica boats.
complete.
Anyway,
Insufficient lithium.
the only War's weapons that really have longer range, or they're projectile
Research
weapons. They're
complete.
missiles and torpedoes. All their energy weapons, lasers, turbo lasers, ion cannons, all
Planetary
of that,
research complete.
all fall under the cannon modifier for Star Trek, for Star Trek
All
Adventures.
crew stand ready.
This limits them to close range.
Research complete.
It does provide an extra 2 challenge dice for damage values, but
Research complete.
it limits them to close range.
Unable to comply.
The only energy weapon that might have a longer range than that is the super laser. But that's more a
Starship
plot
complete.
thing than an actual weapon. Anything that a super laser fires at no longer ceases to exist.
It is an antimatter
ceases to
conversion
exist.
Starship complete.
Yeah.
beam. Regardless.
Research complete.
I really suppose I screwed up on this one. I mean,
Open hailing frequency.
I would have liked to feature some of the better boats. I will never stop plugging this mod. Never.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is a
Give the
this is a pretty good mod and a pretty good game. Well, I haven't played the game, but from what I've seen of the mod, at least, it's a pretty good mod.
this is actually a FASA boat
Huh.
with with an Enterprise reskin.
Nice.
Yellow alert activated.
In fact, you can see that
yeah.
pretty much with every single boat you see here. Here's the Shepherd. That's from STD. The Crossfield, infamously from STD.
Yeah.
The Cardenas. Still don't have the proper pronunciation for that. STD, but remade to look like something from Enterprise.
Yes. And I will go. And on the topic of this game and this mod, have you considered putting it in your lineup?
Scan.
Not just the mod, but the game,
Impulse speed ahead.
but the base game.
New planet detected.
No. It just doesn't
Increase
have
power
any
to engines.
story to go
weapons.
along with it. And
Oh.
after a while, it just becomes so easy to kill everything.
Gotcha. So this will never be on your
Enemy
main
engaged.
or secondary rotations.
And I've already gotten this thing mained out.
Open
We're
hailing
just not going to
frequency.
see it for a while.
Ah.
Steady as she goes.
Anywho, depending on timeline.
Alter course.
Yeah. Depending on time frame, things might be a little
Standing
more
by.
even. Especially if you're doing a
Standing
ship from
by.
the Enterprise era.
Bring us about.
Because Starfleet ships didn't really actually get into proper deflector shield tech until after the Earth-Romulan War. Or,
During.
during the war. Before then, all they really had was hull polarization. And that would make
Research
things a
complete.
little more balanced. Trek would still have the edge in weapons range and power
Starship
gen,
complete.
but it'd just make
Starship
things a little
complete.
easier for wars
Crew standing
ships
by.
to do damage.
We await your command.
Give the word.
All crew stand ready.
Starship
And
complete.
again,
Bring us about.
if a
Helm,
Star Wars
bring us about.
if the Empire crossed over into Trek, they'd still want to do what they do. The Rebels would
Yellow
be
alert.
looking for allies against the Empire, and the Confederacy would probably get along well with the Ferengi.
Which brings us to the wild cards. The Jedi. And
Yes.
and that's gonna be a blanket term.
Yes,
That
but
applies to the Sith too. They have this stupid thing going on.
yeah,
They just don't want to go, hi, we'll be reasonable.
yeah.
No, they go
Give the word.
Go the Force, which kind of really pisses me off. 'Cause,
Awaiting orders.
seriously,
Yeah, I will admit you have a point, but even if it can be kind of,
The
even if
Daedalus is small
force
but hardy.
stuff can be kind of cool,
Passengers secured and cargo stowed.
it's also kind of annoying how
Standing
they
by.
just focus on it at the expense of everything
Alter
else.
course.
I mean, seriously, can you not do the whole objective first, will of the Force, and put that in quotations later? Because that's, let's be honest, it's
Yeah,
their own Force. God,
yeah.
Change heading.
So, yeah, force users in general are
We await
definitely
your
going to
command.
be the wild card, and we don't know how they would affect issues in a
Standing by.
crossover between Wars and Trek.
for example, they could consider the Federation as something great. They could also go, you're the enemy of the Force. You
Yeah,
must die.
Alter course.
yeah. And then we go into and let's also go a little bit further into the Star Wars timeline, going into the expanded universe, going into our preferred timeline of the expanded universe,
Colonization was successful.
and the Vong.
Unable to comply.
Yeah,
The
because
Vong-
there's just
Unable
nothing
to comply.
involved in the Vong.
Yeah, the Vong would just be
Standing by.
death to all tech.
I mean, let's be honest, there's also no Vong models, so we can't do anything with those.
Yeah, but
Planetary research complete.
the Vong are like the Star Wars equivalent of species
Station
8472.
Planetary research complete. Reinforcements have arrived in
They're
this
both
sector.
biotech
Planetary research
species.
complete.
Oh, goody, I get to actually deal with the
Unable to
crossfield
comply.
today.
Planetary research complete. Station
Nice.
complete.
You know, just to showcase that sometimes the fans
Planetary
know what the hell
research
they're doing.
complete. Station complete. Planetary research complete.
Yeah.
Station complete.
But yeah, that's basically sort
Planetary
of Star
research
Wars,
complete.
Star Wars, Star
Station
Trek
complete.
crossovers in a nutshell. We don't really
Station
have ideas
complete.
for
Crew
exclusive
standing by.
stories, but just general concepts of what different factions would do if they ended up in one universe or the other. And we'll be doing more of these for other universes. We've got Babylon 5, we've got Mass Effect, we've got options for 40K, and
Planetary
if
research
Ron
complete.
is willing, we could also cover the robots in disguise.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that one.
Fire at will.
Yeah, I mean,
Research complete.
I've seen a few people do crossover stories with Star Trek and Transformers, but
Planetary anomaly
It usually
detected.
ends poorly.
yeah.
Regardless, this is just a primer. We will be dealing with campaign stuff eventually.
Yeah.
But first things first, we're gonna need to figure out when the hell the first one's gonna be.
Nothing of interest
Is it gonna
detected.
be TOS? Is it gonna be Enterprise? Is it gonna be during the blanket TNG era?
Yeah,
Which
we need to
includes
figure.
DS9 and Voyager.
Yeah. Is it going to be Picard? Well, TNG.
STO.
Yeah. I suppose we could also include lower decks in the TNG DS9 Voyager era, just not quite as stupid. Yeah. So, TNG DS9 Voyager lower decks, Picard STO era.
Unable to comply.
Is it?
Unable
Just
to
need to
comply.
figure out ideas for campaigns for that.
Which hopefully should come soon. We'd like to actually see people actually do these sorts of campaigns.
Yeah, we definitely would. ELH, if you're watching this, I wouldn't mind seeing one of these. For those curious, ELH Mark 1 is a YouTuber/VTuber who does Star Trek Adventures campaigns. He's got some really good ones out there, and
Well, you might as well share this to him when it goes live, which should be
Adjusting coordinates.
as soon as we're done.
yeah, it would definitely be interesting to see him do some crossover stories like this. We'll see what we come up with and see what he makes of it.
Alright then. I suppose that brings us to the end of this particular thing. Next time I will include some more Sins of a Solar Empire stuff. Mostly Throne's Revenge too. Because they've got some options.
Ah, so there's a Star Wars mod for this?
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring this to an end and we'll deal with that when we deal with that. Bye bye.
Yep.